Welcome to Imperial Kingdom, and we were just talking about ZUFFA boxing and what it really means to fighters, to boxers, to promotions, to fans, and the controversies around it. So we were getting to the point that we understand that ZUFFA boxing, in many ways, has confused many fans. People don't understand what it really is or what it's about. ZUFFA is an entity owned by Dana White and his partners, and is backed very solidly by Turki Al-Sheikh. ZUFFA Boxing, Turki Al-Sheikh of Saudi Arabia. So they've been taking and acquiring many boxers, not many, a handful of boxers, and some even being snatched by rival promotion companies. Some of the most powerful promotion companies, like Matchroom, for example. Conor Benn was taken from Matchroom, and with a £15 million acquisition payout directly to Conor Benn. That's a huge financial incentive. One might say investment, but you can't call it a huge investment, except relatively speaking, because to the entity making the acquisition, it might seem like a drop in the ocean, because there's plenty more where that came from. But for the fighters, that is a huge incentive to come. The incentivization factor is huge, because you're giving them often multiple factors above what they normally generate in revenue. So this is a discussion that would almost be a financial type of discussion, but it goes beyond that, because the real issue is not how much are the boxers getting. It's almost a granted. That's really the elephant in the room, because of course the only reason this entity is able to exist or thrive in the boxing community is because of the grand payout. These huge amounts that are coming in to the fighters, huge amounts that they just cannot refuse. I'll give you an offer you cannot refuse. And this is the case now. So Conor Benn went in for £15 million. We heard Jai Opetaia. I mentioned that in the part one. Jai Opetaia, the champion, the cruiserweight champion. Exciting fighter. Brilliant. Great. Was taken also. And not only that, check this, he dropped his belt. The belt that he had previously was dropped. And one mythical thing we've been hearing about is the ZUFFA belt. ZUFFA belt. But the reality is, what does that mean? Yeah, the reality is it's a belt owned by the ZUFFA entity. So ZUFFA is a company it's more or less a promotion company, right? It's not boxing. Boxing itself is a 100-year plus sport that's been going on. You have the WBO, the WBC, and you have the IBF, the WBA. You have these organizations who've been running the game for decades upon decades, and there have been belts that have been transferred over generations, all the way from before, way back, from Sullivan to Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, the other way around, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Ezzard Charles, all these fellas, Muhammad Ali, of course, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, and in all the other weight divisions, Willie Pep, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Duran, Chavez, great fighters, Floyd Mayweather, and the list goes on. Oscar De La Hoya, it goes on and on. Frank Bruno, and it goes across nations, America, Mexico, Honduras. You have fellow Salvador Sanchez, Your people in South America, Africans, Azuban Nelson, yeah, Dick Tiger from Ghana. You have in China, Japanese fighters, yeah, Nakatani, Inoue, and it goes on all the way down to the Middle East. Yemen, Prince Nassim Hamed, which is also a bigger factor because he's got his arm in UK, he's UK also. So this is a very, very huge historical situation we're talking about here. It's not some little thing where some company can just come over and just say, we are boxing. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So you can say it and you could try your best, but it just doesn't work like that. Now, hope from their perspective, hopefully they're successful in whatever they're trying to do if what they're doing is a good thing. But is it a good thing? What are they trying to do? What is it? Because they have not really defined it. They have not explained themselves and illicitly to the fans, to the media. I said, this is what we're trying to achieve. This is our attainment aim. This is our attainment objective within the boxing community or the boxing world. They have not said this explicitly. They've just come and given little hints and flashes of money. Nothing wrong with that. Acquire is business. You make acquisitions. You put money forth, huge investments. Like I said, little investment for the companies. UFC is $1 billion company, and which is run by Dana White successfully, but also backed by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, who works with MBS of Saudi Arabia, the prince, who is actually the ruling factor in Saudi Arabia. So what is the real aim? We're not going to go overall to the actual real aim. We're talking all the way back to what Saudi is hoping to do for their country. We understand Saudi has certain things they're trying to do in Saudi Arabia, and they have certain aims as far as their country is concerned, and the overall perception of Saudi Arabia. Every country is trying to do one thing or the other. But as far as the boxing side of it is concerned, specifically within the microcosm of boxing itself, what is ZUFFA really? What is ZUFFA in terms of this swoop on the boxing world? I'm doing a swoop on the boxing world. Well, as far as their swoop is concerned, what is it? What really is ZUFFA? Who is ZUFFA? What is it? And what is the limitation? Here's the way to really look at it. What is the limitation? What is the max ZUFFA can be? Now, we're not going to go fully into it now. This is just an overview. This is just a snippet. This is a quick introduction to how we can even begin to look at it. And what is it? Is it a pistol shot at boxing, or is it a double barrel, or is it a machine gun, or is it a bomb? Is it a complete explosion? So we have to look at it from the financial aspect, also from the fans' perspective and the media perspective. So, and the fighters' perspective. Really, the fighters' part is the most important here, because they are going to make ZUFFA in terms of their relationship with ZUFFA. If the fighters don't go to ZUFFA, there's no ZUFFA, right? Right. So Jai Opitai, the whole champion of the cruiserweight division, left his whole belt, left everything, and went to ZUFFA. Conor Ben was with Matchroom, long-term partner, if you like, with Matchroom. Not partner in terms of business, but in terms of as athlete to agency. With ZUFFA, went over to ZUFFA, left Matchroom, and he was a dedicated member, and he had a and apparently, or what apparently seemed to be a great relationship with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. So what happened? What transpired aside the huge financial injection? That's a big money. £15 million to any boxer, that's a big money. You can't blame it. You're taking that home to your family. £15 million sterling. Or was it dollars? Whichever way, I don't care. It's huge. So here's my issue. And we'll kind of end it there for now on this conversation. This is part 2. I believe there probably should be a part 3. Here's my issue. And this is where Eddie Hearn might have the edge over, and all the boxing promoters, over ZUFFA's apparent philosophy, or what their attempt is in boxing. So a fighter's going, it's like you're going fishing, and you're throwing your rod, and you got your worms, and you're pulling the fish out. So the fighters have their incentives. Now they're gonna go over to ZUFFA because you've given me way more bucks than I'm even supposed to have, or I normally would have. Of course, that's business, right? You want to disrupt my regular pattern of operation. Of course, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. Not only because of your disruption, but because of the risk. In business, something called risk in investment, in economics. And this is one of those, but huge, very huge. And the thing is, yes, they will come. You get this champion, you get that champion, you get that champion. You know, at the beginning they were saying that they're going to make a whole league. That's not really feasible, because how does that work? So even if you have a league, there have been many small little boxing leagues here and there. You hear of the bare knuckle one here. In Brazil, there's this one. In India, there's that one. That's no competition for the boxing one, right? So what is the issue here? What is the issue? Is the issue that you're able to snatch fighters from established promoters? Is that what the promoters are concerned about? So you're able to snatch this guy from this. You're able to snatch Ben out from Matchroom. You're able to snatch Jayo Pitai out from the championship belts that he'd held, and he let it go. Is that the issue? But then now you have where the boxing world now kind of starts to win in terms of the telescope. If you're looking at it, you have to understand that you can do that today. You can do it tomorrow. You can do it the day after. You can do it this year, next year, and the year after. How about after that? So the fighters will come for the money, of course. Everybody has mouths to feed, right? Families or whatever. Fighters will keep coming for the money. How long until they realize that here's where the bottleneck is, and here's where people like Eddie Hearn have to now pay attention to this part, because they might like this part. So there comes a time. This, as a commodities broker, when I was operating with various firms, I understand how a lot of these deals work. But, and as a martial artist, extreme martial artist, of course I'm very interested, because I'm swooping on the boxing world too. But this is my look at it from both sides. There comes a time when so the fighters keep coming for their money. They get it. X million, great. March, April, May, December, X million, great. November, next year, same. Millions, everyone's getting this millions. So what is that describing? That's describing the wild, wild west. Billy the Kid, he's gone out, boom, boom, boom. He's robbed this bank, he's robbed that bank, and he's got this money. He's got bags of money. Great. So he's sitting somewhere with bags of money. This one, pirate such and such, Long John Silver, he's on the highways. He's gone up in the highways. Boom, boom, boom. He's jacked other ships, taking their money. And he's got treasures and treasures. Great. So your adventures are fabulous. I love that. I'm an adventurous dude myself. I get on the seas too. Yeah? I get on the seas too. I'm a sailing guy. I get on all the waters. I do all that stuff. I go different countries. I love it. And my life is so adventurous. I love it. So I know what they get out of that. But after a while, especially if it's crimes you're committing now, you have all your bags, you have all your, in that back of the world, Billy the Kid. But then there was a bottleneck. There was a period when Billy the Kid now has to realize that, okay, I've got all this money, but what do I tell my children and my grandchildren that I am? I am Billy the Kid. And that's it. The robber, the highway robber. The other one, I'm Long John Silver, the whatever you are, the pirate, taking all the ships. So what do these boxers at the end of it, though they're getting their monies, the highest, let's put a ceiling on it so that we can see clearly. So what's the biggest belt in ZUFFA? It's the ZUFFA belt. ZUFFA belt. That's the most you can achieve as a belt. As a trophy, as an achievement. What is your achievement? I'm the best in, you want to say it's like the UFC? I'm the best. That can never be, because the rest of boxing world will continue. And if they say they've got the best fighters, another crop of best fighters will come up on the regular side. Because you might say, oh yeah, what if the best fighters, all the best fighters are on that side? It doesn't work like that, because a whole lot of people are waiting behind them in the queue. And they will prove their own talent too. Then before you know it, they look like the best. But they have the word, let me give you a word, prestige. They have the belt, the prestigious belts, because their belts are the ones that have been traveling from generation to generation, down the lines. Their belts are the ones Muhammad Ali had, Mike Tyson had, Sugar Ray Leonard had, this guy had. They are the legitimate belts of the entity that we call boxing as a world, as a sport, as a historical sport, which is recognized by all the rest of the media as well. The mainstream media, even, and the social media, the old media and the new media, both recognize this as the one that's been running from generation to generation. Now the new one can still get its own recognition. No one says UFC is not UFC. But the martial arts world is different from the boxing world. This is what I'm dissecting for you and making clear. The martial arts world is not the boxing world. So the martial arts world, which I'm involved in, or I've been involved in, is ancient. It's from thousands of years ago. Generation to generation, but in multiplicity of conglomeration, multiplicity of unions. There's not. So it's in different countries, it's in different organizations, the Aikido, the Japanese, Karate-do, in different versions, Kyokushin, there's this one and that one, the Judo, and even before, it was the village to village, trainer to trainer, master to master, all this stuff. It wasn't a whole, one or two, three, like WBO, WBC, boxing, like that. So it's so wide that it doesn't matter that you now start creating organizations like the UFC or One Championship or different championships in MMA. That's fine, because the rest of the world don't know it. They don't know martial arts in a sense like that. So it's fine that you do that, but you can't do the same and be successful in the boxing world. It already has an established mechanism. Boxing world already has an established protocol, an established procedure and a way of moving, which has been accepted for eons. 100 years, relatively speaking, we call it eons. It's not literally eons, but 100 years. Our era, the era of our grandparents, and the era of our great-grandparents. So, ZUFFA, it's not possible for ZUFFA to become boxing. They will have to create their own little thing. But even though that thing is running, that thing will not be a competition, a viable competition against the already up and running boxing world. It won't, because it's just not going to work. They will have their own if they continue that way. And here's what's going to happen. Because it's not martial arts, it's not MMA, which has its own situation, which we can say, well, that's why UFC is successful. That's completely different. Because it's its own thing, there's a limit to how much, ceiling. to how much prestige it could have as boxing. Because boxing already has its own situation. There's a limit. So you have the ZUFFA belt. ZUFFA belt can never be the WBO belt, WBC belt, IBF. ZUFFA, that's your organization. That's just like your own company. What do you want, the matchroom boxing? To say we have the matchroom belt. And then Queensbury, Frank Warren say, we have the, matchroom, that's Eddie Hearn. Queensbury is Frank Warren. And they say, well, we have the Queensbury belt. So if that works that way, would that be any form of viable competition against the already established one? No, absolutely not. So that can never work. The second thing is those, and it doesn't mean that they won't be earning money, because they could be economically viable. In other words, they will still have the capacity to bring in revenue. They'll still have the capacity to bring in revenue. So revenue will be coming forth. There will be money coming forth. There will be revenue coming forth. Of course, just like the UFC, there's revenue coming forth. That's fine. Just like any other company that's been operated, revenue will come forth. But that is separate from the prestige factor, the recognition factor, as in what is this entity in itself anyway, as compared to the already up and running established boxing world. So they can say, we're getting X million every year. Yeah, but the boxing world is getting X million every year too. Okay, we're able to pay more. For how long is the question? Can you do that on the third year? Can you keep doing that on the third year? You pay more. Well, even if you do, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? The talent that's waiting in the queue for the regular boxing world, they will rise to the top. And then there'll be hot competition there. Then you hear, oh, there's this guy called John Doe. There's this guy called Miller or whatever. He's now beating everyone in the normal boxing world. And then he's got competition with such and such, like the Pac and Mayweather before, when everybody wanted to know who's going to win. They're two. UFC ZUFFA won't be able to just keep on buying all of them before they reach their peak. Because number one, they want the guy who's already peaked, or just about to. And by the time they've paid for those ones, they won't be able to pay for the next one again. on and on and on and on. When they've got their own to deal with. So if you look at the numbers, there will already be a saturation point, even amongst what they have already bought per what? Per division. So is it, say we've bought 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players, let's use that word, like a football team, per division. Do they want to buy 20, 30, each getting 15 million just as guaranteed payments? Of course not. That's not economically feasible, even to begin with. It won't make any sense. They'll get a little handful and then see how they work. Don't forget, even those ones that they paid, some will be losing. They've lost. So now his value is already diminished. So the ones that are waiting in queue in the regular boxing world, they will be rising amongst each other and become superstars in the regular boxing world. Some of them won't be able to be bought by the ZUFFA. And even if they wanted to buy them, they will be happy because they're already making big bucks here by that time. So can you see the interplay of dynamics? How it's a dynamic situation. Dynamism. It's not a photograph here. It's a reel. Because it's moving parts. Yes? It's moving parts. It's live in motion. It's active. Things are happening that will need to be deciphered by the ZUFFA entity. So they're not going to be able to just continue operating like that. It won't be feasible. It won't be workable. It doesn't work. And then now, the last part is the psychological aspect of the value of what ZUFFA is. So at the end of the which is what I just mentioned now, what are the fighters saying? Okay, I got X million pounds now. Now that I was in ZUFFA. And then you fought for X 5 years, 10 years in ZUFFA. And at the end of it, what am I? What did I say to my parents? To my children? Daddy's a millionaire. Great. Nothing wrong with that. Daddy's made money. Look, daddy could pay for your school. He could pay for this. Great. Fine. Nobody said there's anything wrong with that. But okay, let's just say you did that as a businessman or as something else and you made that money. Great. Wouldn't you say that? Yes, look, daddy sorted you out. Of course. This is where we got the money from. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. But the only thing is, you definitely lose the ability to say, I'm the world champion, I'm the best in boxing, and everybody knows it. You can't say that. This is one thing these ZUFFA combatants are missing. And now, I'm not saying that you mustn't go to ZUFFA. That's not what I've said. Who knows, even tomorrow, I might be the one in ZUFFA fighting. So, I'm not saying that. But if I do, I will 100% have to make peace with myself that I'm just here for the money. It's just business, just like any other business I'm doing. Any other business I'm operating, I'm here for business. And also, yes, you get to say, everybody knows you're a fat fighter. As in, you prove that the thing you love doing, you've excelled in it. You clearly are one of the best out there. Definitely, right? But one thing you cannot say is that you're the best in your division in the world and you're the best because you're no longer operating in the established order of boxing. You're not. You're somewhere else, doing something else. It's a different activity, it's a different curricular operation. You're doing something else. It's boxing. That's just like me saying, I set in my house in my neighborhood, I set up some company called Olisa Street Boxing, Olisa Eric Ossai Street Boxing. And anyone from the area can come. And they're good, talented kids. People from back in the day, my school pals, my friends, whatever. People from the street, people from cousins. Great. What? You trying to say they're not talented after I show you all these skills? Of course they are. But I can't say, and are you trying to say they're not getting paid after I'm paying them all this? Of course they are. But does that mean they're the best can they say they're the best in the world? Can they say ever to their children, look at my belt, I'm the best? And this is my message to the boxers too, because there's a confusion, because no one understands. They're confused about this ZUFFA thing. What is it I'm getting into? What is it? They're not sure. What clears the eyes and removes or gives you the feeling that the confusion is gone is the big money that gets slapped on your face. But the reality is, no, you're still confused because you still don't know what's going on. There's no definition of anything. No one's told you, what does this mean? Who are we? What is? This is what it really means. So I'll make it really clear cut to you. You're fighting in a different entity and a different promotional situation. And yes, you may get a lot of money, but you have to make peace with yourself that this is what I'm here for. I'm not the boxer this is not the boxing dream that I entered in with. It's not, I can't go around saying, I'm the best boxer. You know, like when people go in the Olympics. Or in the Olympics, you're fighting to some degree, you're fighting for free as a kid. You're not there just for the money. Yes, you are, because hopefully you get some endorsements and all this. But your greatest pride there is the fact that I'm the Olympic champion. You know, it could be anything. It could be swimming. It could be, I don't know, duck hunting. Whatever it is, you're the best in the world, and you're recognized, and it's a great achievement. And your pride, not in terms of arrogance, pride in terms of your glory, is the glory of you has been extolled. It's now etched in the annals of history that you did this. But it can't be said in the ZUFFA. It cannot be said in the ZUFFA because the ZUFFA does not have that recognition as such entity. Okay? It doesn't. And it's not a down in ZUFFA. If you want, you can play. Don't play, have fun. Go to WWF wrestling and do great things, and you're on TV and you're jumping around and you're an athlete, and kids love you even. They say, oh, look, this guy, he's doing this. But everybody knows that's WWF, WWE. That's fun. It's great. It's still an achievement. And you're making big money. That's a huge one for your family and for your life and for whatever you need to do. If you don't have a family, then for your life, you now have a lot of fun in your life, and you have your bills are paid and whatever. But you're not it's not the same as wrestling in the Olympics. Someone says I have a gold medal in the Olympics. That's not the same. It's not the same as world championships or European championships in wrestling. It's not the same. It's not the same. So as you can see, you have a better view now of what ZUFFA is as an entity, you know, what the fighters are as products, and what ZUFFA to WBO, WBC and all these things are in terms of competition. And you understand the incentivization factor as far as risk and financial risk. But you have a much better picture of what really is going on, what the interplay of wheels are as the wheels and the cogs are moving and motion. And now you have a sense of the limitation of ZUFFA as well. The limitation of ZUFFA. Now you could say ZUFFA is a fountain moving up and up and up and up, but here's where it starts. Here's where the fountain stops. It reaches only up to here. You know. Before that, it seemed like it was an infinite capacity, an infinite journey with ZUFFA. You know, just like back in the days, people thought the world just goes on and on until they finally found the edge. They realized it's not really an edge. You know, cosmology, space, geography, and all these disciplines that gave us a better look at what life really is about in the physical sense. So I'm giving you that today on Imperial Kingdom with Olisa Eric Ossai. Have a good day, and remember, stay cool. It's summertime. Enjoy yourself all over the world, wherever you are. If you like, subscribe. And by the way, I challenged Anthony Yard in boxing, because we're on the swoop now. I challenged Anthony Yard in boxing. I challenged Lyndon Arthur. I challenged Liam Cameron. He told me I'm afraid. He's afraid. Fine. I've got his message, and I told Eddie Hearn that if he wants to see the message, I can show him. And I spoke with Eddie Hearn not long ago. I spoke with Eddie Hearn in London Bridge. We had a chat, and he was saying to me, get your license, your boxing license, and we could do a thing. I said, yeah, let's get it popping. So Eddie Hearn, hopefully we talk again. I spoke to Eddie last time somewhere else in London also. The same week of this guy's fight, the London Bull, the Romford Bull. Same week he fought. Yeah, I spoke with Eddie. We had a quick word. We had a quick chat. But anyways, this is it. Just make sure you understand. I'm coming for the boxing world. I'm sweeping. I challenged Ben Whittaker also. I challenged Ben Whittaker. I challenged Joshua Boite. And I made challenges to David Benavidez. I made a challenge to Benavidez. And all these guys, I challenged them multiple times to boxing matches. I said, look, we're not in a martial arts situation. There's no martial arts environment here. I'm not trying to elbow you. I'm not trying to strangle you. I'm not trying to take the breath out of you. Pure boxing. Because martial arts, the type I know as a master, as a grandmaster in martial arts, is of the ancient nature, the ancient types. It's trained, it's a different teaching. And we know it in a different way. And boxing, Western boxing they call it, in China and in the East and in Japan, we call it here Queensberry rules boxing. It's an aspect of it. I'm thoroughly adept. And I've told Eddie Hearn, let's get it popping. Let's take it to the world, Eddie. I don't know what you're waiting for. But if not, I'm going to do it anyways. And the reason why I wanted Eddie was because I have my reasons. You know, some people I know have worked with him, and they were in good hands. So, as far as, you know, promotional matters and other aspects. But anyways, I'm moving on anyways, regardless. But the point is I'm sweeping, so get ready because I'm sweeping, I'm having a good time and I'm loving it. And boxing world, get ready for it. That was a light heavyweight division, by the way. So I said, look, I'm not going to be delayed. Benavidez went to light cruiserweight. I said, I'll come for you there. I don't mind. Bridgerweight, if you want to go bridgerweight, I'll take you in bridgerweight, and I'll challenge you there. It's all good. I'm not chasing you any further than that. They said he doesn't duck a fade. So if you don't duck a fade, then why are you ducking this fade? Why are you ducking this fade? He's a good fighter. He's a good champion. Just like Anthony Yarde. I told Anthony Yarde too, he's a good fighter. But let's get it popping in the boxing ring. Why is the boxing world stalling? Are you scared? Pat Brown is the one I'm challenging now. Pat Brown, I hope you heard this lecture. Don't go ZUFFA. Let's get it popping though. If you're up for it, let's get it popping. Pat Brown, I'm hearing good things about you, and you're a good fighter. So this is cruiserweight now. I'm having to leave the light heavyweights because all of them were just ducking. All of them in light heavyweight was ducking. All of them. So Pat Brown, let's get it popping. Cruiserweight, if you're up for it, let's do it. Let's do it. Don't run away now to bridgerweight. Or if you do, we can both do it there too. I'm not chasing anyone any further than that. Until then, we'll speak again on Imperial Kingdom. This is Olisa Eric Ossai. Let's get it popping. Enjoy your summer.